You're watching the Vodacom Durban July coverage here on SABC3. Now, Pocket Power last year dead heated with Dancer's Daughter in one of the most dramatic finishes. It was the second only dead heat in the Vodacom Durban July. The first dead heat was in 1967 between Jollify and the Great Sea Cottage. The year prior to that, 1966, there was a dramatic story around the Durban July. Sea Cottage was shot 3 weeks before the race. Let's relive two of the great stories of the Durban July.
This year's July has been frozen as rumors of a shooting have grown. The favorite for this year's Rothmans July has been shot 500 ago. Johnny Machine Gun Nell has been arrested for shooting.
As they come into the straight, Balaclava leads from Jollify and Red Sands. In the center is King Willow. Jollify shoots to the front, but Sea Cottage, coming up with a tremendous burst of speed, fights out one of the most thrilling finishes ever seen. And Sea Cottage both crossed the line together, and for the first time the Durban July ends in a dead heat, with King Willow in third place.
Well, I was 2.5 years old, so I don't remember too much, but as we know, the July's run every year, so we live the story every year, and also, you know, within the family we've spoken about it for many years. I chatted with my dad as well, and he told me a lot of stories about Sea Cottage.
And you've kept a fabulous scrapbook of it as well. Let's start in 66 then with this dramatic shooting at Sea Cottage. Tell us that story. Why was Sea Cottage shot?
Well, he was, those days they called him a racing certainty. He was going to win, definitely, they thought, and the bookmaker was going to lose a lot of money, and so he hired this hitman to put him out of the race, not to kill him, I'm told, just to injure him, to put him out the race.
How much money did the bookie, Sonny Chislett, I recall the name was, how much did he stand to lose?
Well, I've read that about 200,000 rand, in those days, a lot of money.
That's a lot of money in those days. So what did Johnny Nell, the hitman, what did he actually do?
Well, Machine Gun Nell, as I'm told he was called, he got a rifle, I believe, and at the Blue Lagoon, he stood in one of the cubicles there and shot the horse and the hound from there. Now,
and that's where your uncle actually used to run Sea Cottage, on the beach at Blue Lagoon, didn't he?
Yeah, they used to train him on the beach and also just walk him and rest him on the...
The thing about it was he shot him with a high-powered bullet, cauterized the wound. Sea Cottage, remarkably, was running, what, days later?
Yeah, I'm told it was 22 days later, yeah.
Did your uncle Sid Laird face much criticism because he got Sea Cottage up and running so soon after the shooting?
Yeah, some of the older trainers criticised him, but he was a great horseman and he knew his horse, and he proved himself. You know, he ran in the July 22 days later, and he ran fourth. But my dad said the only reason he ran fourth is he was bumped about 2 furlongs to go, so it wasn't really the effects of the bullet.
And I think that's an important point, because people seem to believe that Sea Cottage didn't win in 66 because he was running with a bullet in his backside. He actually came fourth because he was bumped. And your dad was very angry about that.
Well, he was, yes. He thought if he hadn't been bumped, he would have won the race. So it had nothing to do with the bullet lodged in his hand.
But now there's quite a stark reminder of that dramatic incident, and you're holding it right there. The actual bullet with which Sea Cottage was shot, you've got there.
Yes, that's it there. When he died, they operated and took it out and gave it to the family.
Because there has been a suggestion that Sea Cottage was shot with a bullet made of dry ice. I think we can put that myth to rest there. There's the actual bullet.
Well, this is the proof, yes.
Is that something of a family heirloom now,
Yes,
Tony?
Yes, definitely. You know, Sea Cottage is a legend, and we were very proud to, or are proud to be associated with him. And yes, so we would keep this for some time.
Then the following year, Sea Cottage, obviously the reputation remained, and it came into he came into the race for the 67 Durban July as a favourite once again, and in dramatic circumstances, dead heated with Jollify. What are the stories that the family tell about that day?
Well, he came from far back. I was looking at some of the photo footage just recently, and he pipped him, got him on the post, and dead heated with him. But I'm told he also gave him a lot of weight, so, you know, he was a gallant runner.
Well, fabulous memories, Tony, and thank you so much for sharing them with us. And hold on to that family heirloom. It's not many people who have a bullet, proudly have a bullet as an heirloom, but that's a great one for the Sivrite family. Thanks so much for chatting to us.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, it's very interesting. Garth Puller's watching that insert, and he says Tony Siverite looks like a young Robbie Siverite. And it also puts paid to that myth, as Tony said, that Sea Cottage had been shot with a bullet made of ice or dry ice. There was the bullet itself. It's the Vodacom Durban July Pocket Power looking to